joined here by Derrick Giwner of the DRF, of course, the harness coverage. And Derrick, I know this year we put a big emphasis on the racing action here at the Red Mile, and you got to travel down here this week. Has to be pretty special.
Yeah, I love coming out to the Red Mile. I mean, everyone's just so relaxed. All the horsemen are just it's a completely different atmosphere than going to talk to a guy in the winner's circle or the paddock right before they're going to race and seeing them on the backstretch, 5, 6, 7 hours beforehand, and they're just sitting there drinking a cup of coffee. It's a completely different experience.
Well, it has to be pretty cool as well. When you're downtown New York, you get stuck in the city a bit. You do get down for the Little Brown Jug. Of course, the racing action here in Lexington. Nice getaway for you each fall.
You know what? Just going to any track is a great experience for me. Whether it's the Meadowlands or Yonkers, which are closer to my home, or whether it's the Jug, or I've even been to a track in Italy, in Rome. I dragged my wife there one time. If there's a track there and I haven't been there before, I'm going to try and go. And Lexington's just beautiful this time of year. A little warmer than I would like, but I'll take it.
Well, yeah, certainly if we're going to complain, I'd like to complain about it being too hot, as we have had some chilly weather here in the past. But you're like me. I'm a magnet for any track. They're going to draw me in if I'm traveling past. So we're going to put you right to the test here, talk about some of the stakes action coming up this weekend here at the Red Mile. One stake in mind, of course, tomorrow, Captain Treacherous. Now, when I came in this morning, I actually saw you were uploading your Pick 4 video to drf.com/harness, and you did your Pick 4 preview right in front of the captain this morning. Talk to us about that.
Usually I'm in the studio. I'm in Manhattan, New York City, and I don't get to see many horses from there when I'm shooting a video. So my boy Aaron here in video decided let's go down to the barns, and we shot right in front of Captain Treacherous. I tried to get something out of him as to how fast he was going to go or something like that, but he wasn't talking very much. But he did stretch nicely. He put on a nice show for us. So if you tune in on drf.com/harness, you can go check out the video. We have all the Red Mile coverage up there. We're showing all the races live, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to hit a Pick 4 here this weekend.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And, of course, like Derrick mentioned, keep in mind, you want to see live video, drf.com/harness, live video of all the racing action here during the Grand Circuit at the Red Mile. Speaking of the captain, Derrick, he's back in tomorrow afternoon, race 6. It does kick off that $15,000 Pick 4. Do you think we have a Pick 4 single there at the captain? He's drawn in tough with the Little Brown Jug winner, Vegas Vacation, and Sunshine Beach, the only horse to beat him all season long.
I hear everyone talking about how this is going to be a great matchup between Captain and Vegas Vacation, and perhaps something will happen. For my money, Captain Treacherous is the best horse in this race. He has proven it time and time again that he's the best. His only loss, he had an awful trip. For me, he's a single in this particular race. I really, unless something goes crazy out on the track, something that I'm not expecting to happens, I expect him to win. And I look at this race as Captain's going to leave, Sunshine Beach is going to leave, Beach Memory is going to leave. Captain will Tim Teacher will probably make a move somewhere on the backstretch around the half. We saw how well that move worked yesterday with Derrick Giwner. He won all 3 stakes with it. And Vegas Vacation is going to be first over. And if he could beat Captain Treacherous first over, so be it.
Yeah, well, I agree. Best horse, and obviously he's earned the respect of his rival. So if he does make that early move, likely going to be able to clear in there. And the best horse will be where he is supposed to be, right on the lead. Now, obviously, I made him even money on the morning line. What do you expect his price will be in that event?
I think even money's probably cool. I'm probably guessing around 4 to 5. I think there are enough people who are going to be on the Vegas Vacation bandwagon after the Jug win that the price won't be the 2 to 5 we've been getting on him lately. I think 4 to 5 is probably the right price. It's a fair price. If you were going to bet him at that price, I wouldn't say, whoa, what are you doing?
Right, exactly. And I thought, obviously, it might be a bit shorter than even money as well, but don't really like to make horses that short morning line. But obviously the captain is all alone in most of his efforts. So we'll see what happens there. Even money on the morning line again for Captain Treacherous. That'll kick off the $15,000 Pick 4 here tomorrow afternoon. Now, going to move on Sunday. I don't know if you've had a chance to really study things in depth. We have got a heck of a card coming up, and things get underway really with the first stakes division on Sunday. It's going to be the Filly Futurity for the 3-year-old trotting fillies. Fortunately, we've seen pretty much the best down here in this event, obviously, except Be a Magician, who opted to stay in Canada and prepare for the Breeders' Crown. To me, it was an absolute wide-open event, race 2 on Sunday afternoon's card. Any early thoughts there?
You know what? Once you get past Be a Magician in that ranks, it really is wide open. You can't really latch onto one and say, wow, this one looks great today in there. I will say I was talking to driver Tim Teacher yesterday, who's choosing Classic Martini in the race, and he couldn't have talked more highly about the horse. He just went on about how much he loved the horse, so maybe that gives you a key into, and she has some early speed, which is always key to get position.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, driver Tim Tetrick did choose Classic Martini over the one Handover Bell, who he just won with here a week ago. I actually have that as my top selection in there, 8-1 on the morning line. Not sure if we'll get that price, but it's definitely going to be a race where we have a lot of middle odds type horse. I actually went with the morning line favorite there, just 3-1, so probably going to get value with whomever you choose in that event.
I also think it's interesting that Tetrick chose off Handover Bell, who's an Alanya horse, who's Captain Treacherous, and obviously he drives a lot of those horses.
We certainly don't see that happen too often, no doubt. Now we're going to move on to the All-Rush final for the Trotters. How about the 9-year-old Arch Madness? What an effort here last week. Did you expect that?
He's just an amazing. I didn't expect it, and I'll tell you, trainer Tron Smedzhammer didn't even expect it. He was telling me the other day he has no idea what to expect from this horse at this point. Every time he goes out, it's just a guessing game. He says, I've had him all this time, and I still can't figure him out. For me, I love a horse in that race. It's Mr. Herbie. I think this horse has been sitting on a big race for a while. He hasn't had the year that he had last year. He won on 900,000. But this looks like the perfect spot. He's inside of market share this week. Savruga could do some work on the lead to help out the pace. And he's also very versatile. I've seen this horse leave in 26 too, so he could do it either way. I think this is a perfect spot. If he's going to wake up, this is the week.
Yeah, I actually tried him in there last week. He trotted well. He was an even fifth. Thought it was a nice effort, but no question he has a big shot in there, particularly if they heat things up early, and we obviously know that's a possibility. Thought it was an interesting comment we got from Tron Smedhammer last week after the win with Arch Madness. He said, you know, this horse really hates a pocket trip. He hates any kind of trip. He either likes to be on the lead or first over. That's certainly very rare, but he obviously responded to the first over trip. Now we'll move right along to the All-Raj final for the pacing mares. We end up with Drop the Ball, of course, maybe the divisional leader down here, but I thought it was maybe a little bit weaker crew in with her. What do you expect in that one?
I think she's coming off a break last time, no doubt. But with this particular horse, I'm not really worried about that break. She's a little bit quirky. She'll do something crazy from time to time. For my money, she's the fastest in this race. There's no doubt that she's the fastest. And unless something goes really wrong for her, I expect that she's probably the most likely winner. But I got to give a lot of kudos to Rocklamation. Rocklamation is just a workhorse. She goes out there and brings a big effort. I think she's 15 for 17 in the money this year. And she never gets any respect. Week after week, you see her in a final, and she's going off at a big price.
Well, I gave her a little respect there on Sunday. I made her the second choice in the morning line. But no doubt, she has been off some big prices and ultra consistent all season long. We'll see what happens there. That's race 8 tomorrow, the All-Raj final for the pacing mares. Now, one of the most anticipated races, at least for me, Derek, comes up in race 9, the final leg of that pick four on Sunday afternoon. The All-Raj final for the older pacing horses. What an event we've stacked up here.
It's a great field from top to bottom. I mean, there's 3 that really stand out. Obviously, Bolt de Dur, Pet Rock, and a Rock and Roll Dance are the 3 that certainly jump off the page. But there's 3 or 4 others that if things go their way, maybe they can get the job done, like a Clear Vision or something like that. It's really tough for me to pin myself down to one horse in here. Obviously, in the pick 4s, I'm going to use all 3 of those that I mentioned earlier. If I had to pick one, I'd say Bolt de Dur, only for the fact that I loved his elimination effort. It was the perfect prep race. I mean, he left, showed a little bit of speed, relaxed, came on late with a lot of pace. To me, he's the one that I'm going to lean towards.
And rarely do you see a horse with the tactical speed of Bolt de Dur. You can see him charge out of there 26 flat. The next thing you know, he's relaxing. In fact, Mark McDonald even has to chase him along at some points just to get him to keep up. But he always sprints home regardless of how hard he was used early. And he does draw post 1, should be able to dictate maybe where he gets away in there. I went with him, and there's my top choice. And, of course, we couldn't move on without talking about the 121st Kentucky Futurity, the highlight of the meet. Change things up a bit this year. We're just going 2 heats at the max. Whoever wins that second heat is going to be declared the champ.
Yeah, I kind of like having the 3rd heat. You know, not that you rarely get to see it. It doesn't happen that often. I like it for me as a fan of the sport. But I understand where everyone else is coming from, where the trainers are coming from as far as not racing that many heats, and I'm okay with it. You know, you got to do what's best for the horse, and they're going so much faster nowadays that it just makes sense.
Yes, and the one thing I always enjoyed about the potential 3rd heat, it was always the last race on the card. You built up anticipation there to see who was going to be crowned the champ. But fortunately, we're going to have the same thing this year. The second heat's the 14th and final race. It'll be the perfect way to wrap up Grand Circuit action here at the Red Mile. Quickly, we'll get your thoughts on the 2 divisions, 7-horse fields, Royalty for Life, the Hambo champ, the Canadian Trotting Classic champ. Looks like the one to beat in the first heat.
There's no doubt Royalty for Life's the one to beat, and I'm not going to look to go against him. I mean, quite honestly, he'll probably have his things his own way on the lead in here, and I expect him to get the job done in the first elimination. I mean, I'm more interested in the second elimination, honestly.
Well, I think speaking of the second elimination, we've got the two favorites are completely opposite. Spider Blue Chip likes to blast out, go right to the lead. He tried it very well here last week and winning a division of the Bluegrass. Your Sylvain, completely different racing style, likes to come from the clouds. How do you think the second division shapes up?
I respect Spider Blue Chip. I know he's a good horse. I know he's a fast horse. I know he could do it on the lead, but I really like Your Sylvain. I think his racing style is perfect for the Red Mile surface. That closing